Welcome back and thank you for tuning into your daily silver video. If you want the latest news of what's happening across the globe wrapped up in a shiny YouTube video for you on a daily basis, then make sure you click subscribe. This article came out from investing.com yesterday. Is this the start of a major collapse in commodities? Technicals say yes. Now, I love articles like this because he's not trying to fit the narrative to something that he wants or within his own bias or his own emotional attachment to the markets. He's just looking at things realistically as they are, but asking very good questions. Now, he is very bullish on silver, but he mentions how before it's looked like silver was supposed to break out and it hasn't. So what's going on? How realistic is this? And it's just a very unbiased perspective on silver's price, and I like that. I don't want to just always be posting articles from people who are saying silver looks very bullish. This guy's saying, yeah, but I've seen this before. Look, I've seen this before. 2012, what happened? It quickly dropped below. What happened in 2008? It also had multiple industrial uses. Yeah. Did it slide nonetheless? Also true. So he's giving points of, he's seen this before. Yes, it looks like it should. What's going on? And it's just a good article overall in that perspective of he's looking at the good and the bad. He's just looking at this from probably the perspective and an idea and opinion that a lot of us have as well. So I'm really excited to share this with you all, someone who's looking at both sides of the coin, pun intended. And like always, leave your comments down below on what you think about this or what you think the markets are doing and why. So it's another up day in the dollar index and another down day in precious metals and copper, but that's just the start. My today's gold trading alert covers many markets, but in this analysis, I'll focus on silver, copper, and world stocks. It all has implications for gold and mining stocks anyway. Is this the start of something big? Let's start with the white precious metal that often drives sentiment to red hot levels, especially in the case of individual investors. So you see this chart right here, these fake outs in silver where it's looking like it could do something and then it doesn't. And right here you see the breakdown. Silver price broke below its rising support line based on the April and May lows, and it looks like the breakout would hold this time. A few days ago, the breakout was immediately invalidated, but this time silver staying below the support line. The dollar support, its own breakout, makes the pro-bearish scenario here more likely this time. See, the markets aren't always rainbows and unicorns, folks. I'm not always going to be posting a video that's saying that silver is going to be doing something good or that it looks bullish all the time. That's just not the case, and silver's not about to skyrocket tomorrow and not next week, not next month. I mean, at least that I think or that I hope for in that matter. So let's keep in mind that the above is just a short-term phenomenon, and silver's long-term breakdown is where the real action will begin. And I agree with that. I think that, and I also hope for that. I mean, I don't want the prices to shoot up today or tomorrow, then that's just less time that I can accumulate more silver. And plus, if silver skyrockets tomorrow, then what? I'm just gonna be done buying silver the rest of my life or just move on to something else? No, like this is wealth preservation from a long-term perspective, for me at least. I'm 32 years old. I'm not planning on selling my silver anytime soon. So why would I want the price to rise anytime soon? You have to pay more. It doesn't make sense, for me at least. So the next major targets are $75 and $77 and then $120. And this is once silver breaks below its rising long-term support line, the slide's likely to be enormous. Each previous major top could have been forecasted based on the previous tops in the Fibonacci extension. So, he goes on to say, the most likely upcoming move below the rising dash support line based on 2020, 2022, and 2023 lows. And here's where he starts to get more, optimistic and realistic in his thoughts of just being real with the audience. And I love when articles do this. Remember when silver broke below a similar line in 2012? It then quickly dropped below $20. Interestingly, that decline started from the same nominal price levels that we have right now. Why would silver decline here? Most likely, the rising dollar index is one major thing, but another reason is silver's industrial usage. This is great when the world economies are growing, but not so good if they are about to decline or grow at slower pace due to trade limitations, which is true. But that's also where the monetary side of things can pick up for silver as well, where gold would also benefit. So did silver have multiple industrial uses at the top of 2008? Yeah. Did it slide nonetheless? Also true. The main difference between both cases is that now silver, after a rally that's not as steep, and it's more vulnerable technically. It failed to rally above the 61.8% Fibonacci retracement based on the 2011 to 2020 decline. And they're talking about $50 silver in 2011 down to 2020 when silver was $11. So technically, the rally from 2020 low is just a correction of the 2011 to 2020 slide. Is the silver market near its breaking point? Will the manipulated price finally break free and soar? Is it inevitable and prices are now on the verge of jumping to 3 digits? Perhaps, right? I mean, of course, that's a possibility. But I've been reading all the above since I've got interested in this market in 2002. And see, that's where a lot of us are. We've all been hearing about this, that it could do that. During this time, silver rallied and it declined just like any other commodity. What are the reasons for silver to soar now that at the same time were not valid a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and 15 years ago? These are all great questions. I mean, I can answer some of these with my own thoughts and opinions and perspectives, but, it's a good question, though. If there are none as it was all up to date also back then perhaps those reasons are good reasons for silver to rally eventually, but not necessarily now or in the following months, and that's what I try to say. Watch out for people trying to say that it's about to do, that they know for sure that silver is about to explode. Run away from those people and don't look back. They're probably in it for the wrong reason or trying to push some type of agenda, and it's not safe. Like, yes, I'll tell you to buy silver from Miles Franklin, but I'm not saying you got to hurry up and buy it now because silver's about to explode tomorrow and you're going to miss out. No, it's just a safe place to buy. And by the way, you could email info@milesfranklin.com, let them know Silver Slayer sent you. Andy Scheckman loves to hear it. And that's a place that I can get you guys cheap gold and silver and platinum. And it's also, there's a huge variety and it's from a great company that, but it's not me trying to say, hurry up and get it now because if you don't, you're going to miss out. Now, yes, one day that statement will be true, but it's not next week or in the next month or so. That's the difference between people that post content or that have a voice on here. You just got to be careful who you watch. I'm sure all of you have very good intuition and you guys could see those types of people from, a mile away, but still. So yes, I do think the silver will soar in the following years to benefit those within their retirement accounts, but I also think it will decline in the following weeks and months. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the year, we're in the dog days of summer right now, but, especially at ending the year, there's going to be a lot more happening. And not only just from the economic perspective, but the end of the year is always insane with, Christmas and everything that's happening. There's just a lot of action. People are traveling, not paying attention to the markets as much or something else happens. We're living in uncertain times, so you can't have any certain perspective on what you think silver's going to do, let alone the economy's going to do. That's what copper's been doing recently. It moved back below its rising support line, and it invalidated the breakout above its 61.8% Fibonacci retracement level. The implications are bearish. Trade with China still stagnant. Another bearish sign comes from the real world. As if charts were not real. I mean, the situation regarding trade with China, quoting from Yahoo Finance, quote, as Apollo chief economist Torsten Slok pointed out this week, there are still no signs of a rebound in trade between U.S. and China 2 weeks after the tentative trade deal container traffic hasn't strongly returned, he said, suggesting that this just came up, suggesting the existing tariffs are still too high, or that the U.S. companies are holding out for potentially better tariff conditions to emerge. So much for the improvement in the U.S.-China trade situation. The reality hasn't hit hard enough for the investors to care yet. The statistics don't show changes yet, but when they do, the markets could tank fast. Remember the 2020 slide? It wasn't until the jobs report showed how bad the situation was until the markets plunged. Sooner or later, likely sooner, the stats will show the economic slowdown. Investors will catch up. Some people will sell. More people will notice and sell as well, and it will begin. The impact on commodities and mining stocks should be really significant. Before summarizing, I'd like to remind you about the similarity in the U.S. stocks' relative performance compared to other world stocks, and that's between now and 2008. So he shows this chart. He says, warning, we are here. So that does look pretty scary, because look what happens right when we're there. Huge, huge pullback. Now, I'm not saying this would happen again. There's a lot of variables that could definitely keep silver higher, but he's just showing the charts, showing the numbers. For me, I have no idea. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a psychic. I'll be buying silver regardless. I was screaming at people to buy silver when it was $11 in 2020. A lot of people were selling their silver at $11 in 2020, believe it or not. Most people buy high and sell low. They buy high when everyone's talking about it. It's on the news. They buy it when it's the most expensive, because that's when there's the most hype around it. But then when it's down and everyone has a negative look on it, that's when they sell and say, oh, I should have went into something else. Do the opposite of what the normal person does, and you will be successful. Buy low, sell high. Don't buy high, sell low. So U.S. stocks failed to move to new highs while other stocks broke higher, all while the sentiment for the U.S. dollar index is very negative and the price appears to have bottomed. Declining world trade, lower GDP growth, and lower commodity prices are all aligned. History shows mining stocks are likely to be affected to big extent. Well, gold too, but not as much. If stocks are about to collapse in the following weeks, months, then the impact on multiple markets, especially silver, copper, and mining stocks, is going to be enormous. Are we prepared to take advantage of it? I definitely am. So yeah, that's just, that's a very interesting article, and I definitely appreciate this guy sharing an unbiased perspective of the markets, looking at the good and the bad without throwing his, because of course he's been stacking since 2002. This is a silver stacker, but he's just real, right? He doesn't try to sugarcoat things, and it shouldn't be. Because if you're trying to only portray something and leave out negative information for your audience, that's so wrong. That's manipulative, and that's not being real, right? I'm not going to always paint the markets as rainbows and unicorns if they aren't. A lot of people will skip an article like this because he mentions this chart right here. They'll skip an article like this because it shows that chart that says there might be a huge pullback. They don't want to show that to their audience because they want, that's so wrong to do. Be real with your, and that separates, people, and especially, those who, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it, but I love you all. I hope you guys enjoyed this article. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I'll be buying it regardless. I'm pretty sure, I guess I can't say for sure. I'm pretty sure that, someday we will look back and wish we could buy a time capsule or build a time capsule and pay $30-something for an ounce of silver, because I guarantee one day it will be a lot higher than that. So with that said, I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Go check out the video I posted yesterday. It's a really good video. Actually, all the videos I've been posting lately are pretty interesting. Just looking at different perspectives. And yeah, I really think you guys will enjoy it. Thanks for tuning in. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.